Welcome to this video on a true crime story that has gripped the world with its shocking and sinister details. This story is not for the faint of heart and may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. It was a beautiful summer day when a young woman named Sarah went missing. She was a vibrant and outgoing person, loved by all who knew her. She was last seen leaving her workplace late in the evening, and she never returned home. Her family and friends were frantic with worry and searched tirelessly for any sign of her. The police were immediately notified of Sarah's disappearance and a search began. The investigation quickly revealed some shocking details. A co-worker had seen Sarah leave the office with a man she didn't recognize. The police began to question everyone who had been in contact with Sarah in the days leading up to her disappearance. It wasn't long before they had a suspect. The suspect was a man named John, co-worker of Sarah's. John had always been a bit of an oddball, but no one ever suspected him of being capable of something like this. When the police began to investigate John's background, they discovered a history of violence and instability. John had been in and out of psychiatric hospitals for years, and had a criminal record for assault and battery. The police arrested John and brought him in for questioning. At first, he denied any involvement in Sarah's disappearance. But as the police continued to question him, he began to crack. He eventually admitted to killing Sarah and led the police to her body. John's trial was a media frenzy, with reporters from all over the world covering the case. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and he was found guilty of murder. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The aftermath of Sarah's murder was devastating for her family and friends. They struggled to come to terms with the loss of such a beautiful and vibrant person. But in the years that followed, they found solace in the fact that justice had been served. John remains in prison to this day, and Sarah's memory lives on. As the years went by, rumors began to circulate about a possible motive behind Sarah's murder. Some people whispered that John had been hired by someone to kill her. Others believed that he had acted out of jealousy or revenge. Despite the rumors, the police investigation had never uncovered any evidence of a hidden agenda. But one day, a witness came forward with some startling information. The witness claimed to have overheard a conversation between John and another person in which they discussed the possibility of killing Sarah. The witness couldn't identify the other person, but they were certain that John was not acting alone. The new information was enough to convince the police to reopen the case. They launched a new investigation and interviewed everyone who had been connected to John or Sarah at the time of the murder. They even re-examined the evidence that had been collected during the initial investigation. As the investigation progressed, the police began to unravel a complex web of deceit and betrayal. They discovered that Sarah had been involved in a business venture with a group of people, and that the venture had gone sour. The group had been planning to cut Sarah out of the business, and they had hired John to eliminate her. After months of digging, the police finally had enough evidence to make an arrest. They apprehended the group of people who had conspired to kill Sarah, including the mastermind behind the plot. It turned out that the group had been involved in a variety of illegal activities, including fraud and embezzlement. The trial was even more sensational than the first. The defendants vehemently denied any involvement in Sarah's murder, but the evidence against them was overwhelming. They were found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. The truth about Sarah's murder had finally come out, and her family and friends were able to find closure. The case had been a long and painful journey, but justice had finally been served. Sarah's legacy lives on through the countless lives she touched during her short time on Earth. Her family and friends remember her as a kind and loving person who always put others first. They honor her memory by supporting causes that were important to her, such as animal welfare and environmental conservation. Conclusion. This true crime story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and deceit. It is a reminder that even the most heinous crimes can be solved with determination and perseverance. We must never forget the victims of such crimes and always strive for justice. Thank you for watching.